Come with us on this journey.
Welcome back to Midwest Real, and today we are talking about actors. Something that I know you have a good experience with, something that I had a little bit of experience with, and I want to talk specifically about casting local talent.
The way you've said that before is like, we've got experience with actors. Oh,
Wait a minute.
well, I guess technically you do, since you're married to one.
There you go. Okay. Shooting short films can pose many problems or issues, and one of them could be the acting. One of the things that I heard from a comment from about Space Between was somebody said they were really amazed at how great the acting was. I'm not sure what they expected, but they were just, they were totally blown away by the fact that you and Taylor Bay did such an amazing job, and which is a bummer because local talent can get a bad rap, or I personally think there's some great talent around here.
I think there's some fantastic talent. I mean, we've been very, very blessed with the people that we've been able to cast in our short films. And part of it comes from, I think, to the first point that you made, I think people, when they know it's a short film that's locally produced, that they have low expectations.
Yeah.
So I think that enters into part of it. But people don't realize there are some really, really good actors, locally, just about anywhere you look. And community theater, and that's who we really draw our actors from. I mean, just about everybody we've used has been somebody that, mainly me.
Well, I was going to say,
mainly I've known through my connections in community theater.
which is great. I mean, I rely on that a lot, obviously, but it's fantastic because you do know the community and you brought such good talent. I mean, everybody who you brought in has been fantastic.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Thanks all of that. So, well, we've been very fortunate to have that kind of talent available.
We have
our first few 48-hour film projects that we did, when we did Fruit Loops.
Yes.
And we did Written Off. So we had access to a guy who was a professional actor in Chicago and London who lived here and thought that, being able to do a short film like that was just a kick.
Yeah.
And so to have somebody with that kind of pedigree and talent work with us was just really a treat. But everybody we've used. In our next episode, you'll meet Bernie Hine, who was the lead of a short film that we did called Meeting Dad. And she was somebody that I'd been in a couple of shows with.
Right.
And actually, when we wrote Meeting Dad, I told you from the get-go,
yes,
Bernie should be the person to play the lead role of Anna. And the person who played Dad, well, everybody in that were people that I'd acted with before.
Right.
And so it was very easy to cast. We didn't really have to audition anybody because it's like, I know this person can do this and this person can do that. And was that the first time that we used Tim and Laura together as a couple?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's been fun. So two of my friends, Tim Roberts and Laura Schuler, we used as a couple in the film Meeting Dad, and we've used them how many times since?
I think 3.
So,
times or
including one that you didn't direct, including one that Dayton Felt directed.
That's right.
So, and now we're even thinking about
doing something specific for that.
Exactly.
Well, do you think that's fair though? Let's talk about that. That we're not holding auditions, that we're just actually casting the people that we know.
I think there's a difference between what we do and what, for example, community theater does. Okay. I think with a theater show, sometimes there's roles that, there will be times when a theater group will do a show knowing that we've got an actor here who would be perfect for this role or who's done it before. But that should be the exception and not the norm. I think for theater roles, especially, open auditions are the way to go. But what we're doing, which is frankly, kind of a small scale.
Right.
We don't have a lot of budget. We don't have a lot of time, generally.
Right. No budget, no time.
And we know enough people. We don't need a ton of roles. We don't do a film that's got like 30 roles or anything.
Right.
So it's like, okay, we need somebody who's this age or whatever. And, well, I know this person would do a good job for it.
And there's something to be said about that too, because not only do you know that they're going to do a good job, because we're limited on budget and time, I have to totally trust these people that we're bringing onto the set. I remember perfectly well when we were doing Meeting Dad, Bernie Hine. I was so worried about the cameras, the setup. There was issues with sound that I knew that the lines were going to be there, the blocking was going to be there, and whenever something came up, and it made it so much easier, so much better.
And then when we did When I Go, which was based on a play that we did here at JPAC, we basically used the cast of the play. These people already knew the characters. We knew how good a job they had done in the play.
Right.
So that made it very, very easy to just, bring those people in because they'd already done it.
And those actors were
Amanda Rodriguez and Chloe Atala and Chris Ogden. And we did use Laura and Tim again in that, though they played different roles. Well, Tim actually wasn't in the play version. Laura was.
Right.
But we had Laura playing a different role.
Right. And then the most recent one, you're actually in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the lead actress in that you worked with,
Taylor May Anderson. Yep. When we did Midsummer Night's Dream, Outdoor Shakespeare, she was Puck, and she was phenomenal. Right. Yeah, we'd seen Taylor play Dulcinea in Man of La Mancha. She had been in a show that I wrote called Finding the Spirit. So we'd seen enough of her to know that she was right. And plus she had the right look for this. Sometimes with casting, and that's how it is in, Broadway or Hollywood or whatever. I mean, sometimes people have to have a certain look to fit the role that you need.
Absolutely. How do you think, as producers, as director, as a co-actor, we should set those expectations? Because I remember with When I Go, first scene that we did that morning was one of the hardest scenes, which was, and the actress, she had no idea we were going to do that,
No,
So,
but she pulled it off.
sure did. Absolutely.
But yeah, that was one we probably should have gave her fair warning on.
Yes. We learned our lesson.
But I think what I found in using stage actors for these roles is that acting is acting. And do you have to use a little bit of a different approach to it? Yeah. And I've done both.
Right.
I mean, honestly, the thing I like about doing films, like in doing Space Between, I didn't have to have a thing memorized. I'm in the middle of doing a show now. I'm in JPAC's production of it. And we are in a lot of JPAC, by the way.
Right. I didn't say that.
I'm in JPAC's production of A Christmas Story that's going up in December. And I've got chunks of lines that I have to learn. And it's a lot. And I had a lot of lines in Space Between, but I didn't have to have them memorized because we were doing them a little bit at a time. There were really no long, extended scenes in that.
And the beauty about that too is we actually changed lines on set.
Yeah, on the fly.
Because we had realized sometimes as you and Taylor Bay, or when you were just by yourself doing something, we're like, okay, this doesn't work. And we could change it. When you're on stage, you can't change that line.
Exactly. I mean, we do a take and it's like, what would you think if we said it this way?
Right.
And it's like, yeah, let's try both and see what works better and keep the one that works better. So it's nice to have that option that's not all falling on, what you do within the moment on stage.
Exactly.
I mean, once you've done a stage show and you get through it, you've done your 90 minutes, you hit all your marks and remember all your lines and everything else. I mean, there's a lot of satisfaction in, pulling off a 90-minute show that, really went well.
But what's great too about working with some of these actors that have the experience on stage is they also bring a lot to the table. Like Taylor Bay brought a lot to the table. Bernie brought a lot. They all did. They all had their input and their thoughts. But I would like to have auditions at some point and bring in people that we don't know at all and sort of see what they bring to the table and how we work with them.
Yeah, the hardest part about that is I always feel bad, that somebody doesn't make it.
Yeah.
And it's, and I've been there, I've not gotten roles that I've, of course, wanted to be cast for. But then on the other hand, I've been cast for roles I didn't audition for. And it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me. The last time I did Midsummer Night's Dream, I wanted to be Bottom again because I played Bottom before and saw hilarious role. Love that role. And I got cast as Oberon, and I thought,
I remember you talking about that. And you were like,
that's like, that didn't see that coming, and I loved it. I ended up loving it. And the same thing for Wizard of Oz. Years ago, I auditioned and I really wanted to be the Scarecrow because I thought physically I would really be able to nail that role. And I got cast as the Lion. And it's like, really? And then it turned out it was one of those where the director knows better than the actors. Because once we got into it, it's like, I can't imagine doing anything else. I loved playing Cowardly Lion. So sometimes you really have to, as a director, there's things you're looking for that actors can't necessarily see about themselves.
Agreed. Well, there you have it. Just some of our thoughts about working with local talent, casting local talent, using the people that you know, using the people that you've worked with, that you can get a good performance, especially when you're on a budget or a time constraint and you really don't have the time to work with the acting, which isn't fair to actors. But when you're shooting When I Go on a one-day schedule, you have to do what you have to do. So I'm looking forward to trying some new techniques, some new some auditions, and seeing who else is out there that wants to be one of our shorts.
And next week, we'll talk to a woman who was the lead in Meeting Dad, Bernie Hyde. Looking forward to that conversation. So please join us once again for our next episode of Midwest Reel. I'm Jim.
And I'm Robert.
You got your line.
I know.
Come with us on this journey.